This would be the introduction. I'm Adamo. I'm gluing up some cutting boards. I'm going to talk about witness marks, curation, some hammers. And at the end, I'll maybe pull out some stones and do a razor honing, because that's my plan on deck. That's doing. I'm going to wait a minute, see if anyone else jumps in and joins before I start doing it. We're going to have a little fun. This is a free speech environment. You can bullshit as much as you want. We don't give a fornication. All right, there we are. Questions are always welcome in my streams. During or after, I'll try to answer most of them. Questions are always welcome in my stream. So let's get the camera off. And cool. Say hello. So these little piggy cutting boards have a history with me. I've been copying one. I made half a dozen of them. But I'm doing a little production here. Well, that's a lot of glue. So my dear roommate and friend and beau, JK, this is an old family heirloom that her grandparents used to use, and they served charcuterie chopped on it. And, you know, so 7 years ago, around the holiday time, because piggy cutting boards are a thing. They've been a thing, which is kind of curious. So maybe I'll clean it up and restore it for her. The more I looked at it and I mic'd the middle, once you get in the middle, there's like not even a quarter inch left there. It's like 3/16. Like, why would I erase all that history? Why would I change it? Every scratch and knife mark tells a story. It's authentic. So I reproduced them, 6, 7 of them, and gave one to all of her family members, her sister, her mom, her aunt, and this is hers. I've sold these before. And these little 4 piggies are getting their eyes pegged out in, whatever you want to call it. And they're going right to market. Folks, it's a new year. I'm shifting gears back into making stuff, not just the tools. So look for an Etsy shop from me soon. That should be happening within the week. Some of these will be available. We have Anything Goes Sales Week coming up in Can I Have It? That's Kai-Hi for you folks. We're the best Facebook sales group around. But quarterly, we do Anything Goes. You can sell anything. So these are not tools, not allowed during regular Can I Have It season. But I'll be letting go of one of these. That is coming up February 10th or 11th. So we got some very special piggy eyes. I need a plier to get that out. And each one has different wood. We have Gabon ebony, we have tiger maple, we have Patagonian rosewood, carpe, and this one is No Idea from WA up in Vermont. It kind of has a Gabon look, but each of these has some cool grains. So once they're once they're popped in and sanded off, the eyes should pop. Pliers, and we're ready to go. And then we get to have some fun with delicate hammers, chasing hammers, teeny weeny hammers. You know, just a great all-around mid hammer. I just throw some shit around. Couldn't find my favorites, but I found good ones. Get a little wet. I want to thin it out a little bit. It's a little cool down here. My furnace heater keeps it warmer. And it's hammer time. So I would expect to have one or more of these cutting boards available on Etsy. within a week. And I'm going to be asking about $78 delivered, under $80 delivered. I mean, hand rub finish, food safe. All the good stuff. So if that's something you're interested in, you can speak now. There's no shame in asking for them now. One of several custom things I'll be making. I got a cool commission coming in to build a bookcase shelf for a house. Freestanding, mid-century modern, think like Mad Men executive, 60s retro, maybe a little Frank Lloyd Wright. It's going to be kind of cool. It'll have my custom touches. It's going to be a larger commission. It's been a while since I've done a larger one, so it's happening. This is like a silversmith's chasing hammer, engravers. You just hold it by the palm. It's a lovely hammer. Arrow, France. I got a pair of Righteous tin snips to go with this. Had some great customers, some great experiences coming through. Can I have it this weekend? I sold. I had 12.5 auction listings. Some cool stuff. So I want to thank all my customers and friends. You guys are the world to me, honestly. Keeping my lights on. This is the fun part. I loved plugging up like screw holes in decks or cabinetry with solid contrasting woods. I don't know what you call this hammer, a little mini cross peen something, but I love these spring. I think they're called spring. Whenever you see the thin handles of them. Got a new buddy I just connected with off of the bay in the Messenger who was already in Kai-Hai, and you were looking for a little wooden handle. I want to have one particular. But what you didn't see, before I quote you on that shipping cost across the pond, so we're going to make it work for a first-class max shipment, which I think is under £1 plus. But then the next step up is a flat rate envelope, a legal one, and I can put a lot in there, believe me. And that costs like $6 these days, but I have handles, extra handles. Also, if this was never cut for your tape or for your socket, I have several dozen of these leather hoops. Looking for a good home with someone that needs them, to make some custom handles, to restore some custom handles. Those are available. I'm the only one watching because I see one. I'm too fast. No one comes in and watches live yet. Always on the replay. Oh, I dare someone to come on live and call me a son of a bitch. I'd love that. Be my best friend. Oh, you hear that? A little squirt. Cherry. The grain is going this way because of the board. I was able to get more piggies out of the board. Last week was all about the scroll saws, coping saws, the power ones, the jewelers. This one has a Flying Dutchman scroll saw blade. The teeth are twisted, so you can cut omnidirectional. It's awesome. I had that Victor Seneca foot pedal scroll saw, which went up to Maine, to Mount Vernon, where it's in good hands forever now. That thing was a treat. That thing was big and old. From a bygone era. Love it. So yeah, last week was the scroll saws. I still have a Craftsman. It's a Sears Roebuck, probably 1920s era scroll saw. Clean as a whistle. I went through every detail, even the motor. It's an AC General Electric motor. Dripless, they call it. Took that apart. It's perfect. Runs like a treat. It's for sale for $100. Someone's going to want that, and they're going to be happy when they get it. I had one tire kicker come up and look at it, and in the end, he probably just wanted a coping saw. But he didn't know what he wanted. He didn't want the big one. I gave him another option for a small one. He didn't want that. He was a lawyer. No. Nothing against lawyers, but this one, you got a full demonstration too. I think he wanted an easy whiz bang solution and realized it was a little more complicated. He was like, yeah, maybe not. That's probably what really happened. Another friend of ours, of mine, noticed in a other group that I had a marking gauge. Fucking Providence, Rhode Island. It's an R Hazard, Providence, Rhode Island. If that doesn't get you excited, you don't know what it means. You just don't know. It's a very rare label, name, stamp. He made planes, marking gauges, panel gauges. There are no known examples of him making squares, but it's almost impossible he wouldn't. But this friend of ours noticed I had a Robert Hazard stamp marking gauge. It's like, is it for sale? And I did promise all my friends in Kai this week that everything is for sale, everything has a price. Now, if it's one of my favorites, it might be, that stupid price where you won't buy it. So that's one of those stupid price things. But then he goes on to tell me he's got like 2 or 3 of these marking gauges, and he saw a plane sell the other year at auction. Go find someone else that has a Robert Hazard collection from Providence. You won't, probably. Last eye in. We're going to geek out on some sharpening stones. I'm going to hone a little razor and see if I can't pop some hairs off the back of my arm. And then I'll shave it in the morning or tonight. And that's going out the door to BR. My favorite one-eyed bandit. The pirate himself. The ABQQ. All right, I guess that one doesn't want to go in too much. I chamfer the bottoms and scuff sand at the sides of all these. You got a good friction fit, not a loose fit, so. Bada bing, bada bam, bada boom. Done. Let's get to the fun. The other week, I peeped this little razor, and it was nothing that screamed like stupid money, but it had a lot of little things going for it. Triple pin, sign of quality. Solingen steel, nice etch, clean stamp, no rust. Give it a go. The edge is respectable. I see no damage. I can cowboy shave with it right now, as a matter of fact. That's the first time I tried. So that's not bad. I'm going to check it on 3 stones. One stone I know very well. It's my workhorse. It's just the best. Naniwa Snow White, 8K stone. It's a 10K stone. It's incomparable. It's a beaut. Love the white. You see the swarf. You get a feedback. So I'm going to take this down to an 8K level. Use my Charnley. And then why not? Where are you? We're going to try finishing on an Iwatani Kitakapa from One Stone in France. If you're looking for JNATs and are confused by the nomenclature and names, just go to the One Stone France website. Nicholas, a stand-up guy that knows his P's and Q's, and he's going to tell you what it is and how it works. So this is one of my second JNATs I've owned. It is every bit as unique and fine and different from anything I've found or used anywhere else in the world. And I've used stones from Europe, Ireland, Scotland, France, America, Canada, Germany, all those spots. So these Japanese stones, I look at them and I'm thinking in terms of petrology. What is a stone composed of? Why is it different? The cementation is off the charts. The fineness of the grains is ridiculously fine, just smooth as butter to the touch. So it's funny because Nicholas is such a square, nice guy. I mean, he gave me a kappa for my kappa. So I got a rubbing stone for my little hindstone. And truth be told, I love honing in hand. Gonna take a beat for a minute, come back and do a little homework. Got to get right with God. Sharpen some shit. Little wah-wah. I have a mister somewhere, but I don't know where it is right now. Nope, now I do. I'm gonna get tricky, yeah, everything's tricky. And for all of no one that's watching, I got a bunch of stones below me. If you want to see something, ask. I said to no one. I'm going to deck this, just like to get it clean so we can see what happened. I want to see clearly this by itself and just exercise all the things and tricks I've accrued from honing razors, which are way different than tool edges, which is my background. I got my Atoma 140. I do baby this when I'm not dropping it. I use it lightly. Very lightly. I don't use it to lap stones. Rarely I use it for things like this. Maintenance. I love these over the DMT die sharp line because of the consistent patterns and valleys. It just, it's like a honeycomb layout when you get up close and look at it. And if you don't have a nice Japanese, Atoma plate to lap your stones in to get them fresh again, because you're also taking a little tooth out. You're putting tooth back into it with the scratches. You have other options like sandpaper. Beautiful stuff. This is coarse stuff. If you've ever sanded finishes like catalyzed lacquers for cabinetry and woodwork and you got to be flat, those principles of exercising with my fingers. And I'm not really giving a damn about if the stone is perfectly micron flat, like with a straight edge. Doesn't matter. Most natural sharpened stones will develop a hump, either from lapping them flat, from use, concave is okay. Humps are better than concaves, honestly. So. And this edge on this razor, the Facharbeit, a name I'm not familiar with. Facharbeit. Facharbeit. So I am going to go to 220. Ooh. Crazy fact about lapping natural sharpening stones like slates, dressing them. Off for stones, like I'll stop at like 220 lapping powder. And even though I stop at 220, that stone's inherent grain, grit particles, say it's an 8K stone. It's an 8K stone. I don't need to lap that stone up to ad nauseum to make it, you know, reflect light like a gemstone polished. It defeats the purpose of the stone. So I'm just clean this up till I'm satisfied, which is now. Naniwa is a splash and go. It's a magnesia bond. Magnesia speaks to me in other ways of being a form of sintered, not zirconia, artificial ruby, something, something, ridiculously fine stone. They just got it right. Some of them check and crack, I've heard, but I've never had a one. Did come glued to a jig off so I could do this. One more thing, we're ready to go. This is a little pro tip for all us beginners. Get your permanent pen out. Give it a second to dry. Have a good jeweler's loop handy. You're gonna scope the shit out of this thing. Get a good look at what you got. Nice clean edge, no nicks. Someone cared for this razor and it was used not too long ago. Couple little pit nicks towards the heel. Nothing I really would be worried about. It's radius. This should be a fun one. This should be a pleasure. There's no smile. This is a straight spine, straight edge. It looks pretty good. I think there's always a little smile towards the toe and heel where the blade goes up a little bit. And I really just prefer this. Probably washing out the white a little bit there. Let's see if we can get a better golden light. The next thing I'm going to look at when I get done with these progressions is I'll look at the spine and see how the shine and scratch patterns are there. Make sure it's even. So technically this is that Facharbeit. It's a Tennis 22. Cool little razor. It's going to be cutthroat in no time, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that. Really, really fine metal shavings. I took a lot of cues from watching other people hone. KBJ notably. I see some people go really fast. I don't like that unless I'm like pro, and I'm not pro. This looks good. I see great striations across the permanent pen line. Yeah, if it was just me without the camera, I'd spend a little more time. We're going to jump to this lovely Charnwood. If you got a stone in a box that's really tight, and you're like, I know, is it glued in? Here's the pro tip, people. Upside down, 45-degree angle. 60% of the time, it works all the time. Now, instead of water, I'm going to jump right to this Ellie's Awesome Orange. Makes sense in a minute. This, I believe, this is my only sample size of Charnway. I believe it's on the softer side. It's not a harder one. Its intrinsic characteristics best described. I said it when I first got it, but I have to write it down again. It's a Goldilocks stone that combines the best qualities, like 3 different stone types, as far as I'm concerned. And it's like linide wall, Thuringian, and a hint of not Washita, but something kind of close to Washita. Anyways, lovely stone. Feedback is supreme. It's just a dream. And I hear a little grit particle or two. So you stop, you wipe. So this stone will absorb this little moisture on top of it. It's like rubbery beads. They're slippery. I feel some little granules, but I think they're just the teeth on the stone. It's a very haptic sensation I'm picking up just in the fingertip. You get a little resistance tug where you feel the tooth grab, but then it just gives into an even glide. It's not suction, it's not vacuum, but a little resistance, it's perfect. When you push into it, you feel like it's working. I don't see a lot of swarf off this stone. I don't think I ever have. And as soon as this Ellie's Awesome Orange, just like a really thinned out alcohol-based degreaser, I believe. I'm gonna do what I did a while ago. For the longest time, water honer. I didn't like the oil. I didn't like the old stones that were caked in oil. I was biased. But then I broke through some time ago. I said, I can get down on baby oil, just a thin mineral oil, no problem. Smells good, great. And then I can jump between water and baby oil with this Ellie's Awesome Orange. Easy peasy. Oils are a much more nuanced substance. Cold, heat, viscosity, chemistry, a lot comes into play. So, Canocroil, the oil that creeps. Get this, folks. A scientific discovery reduces the surface tension so that this amazing solvent creeps into openings as small as 1/1,000,000th of an inch. So if you really want a thin oil, because usually oils will float your edge up off the surface a little bit, so you glide and smoother. But sometimes you want an oil that keeps the surface intimate. And man, a little Croil on a Charnley. You haven't lived as a honer until you've tried this. I'm feeling particles. It must be the paper towel. We're just going to roll with it. Going full Bill O'Reilly. F it, we'll do it live. Now this is just like glass. Light frost. That little tug is gone. It just is butter. You know, warm, not quite melted hot butter on fine frosted glass. I just can't describe it. It's nice. It's very, very nice. Man. Oh yeah, not even stropping them. I can shave with that. Doesn't feel too and this is still a raw edge, you know. Okay. Hey, Bruce, you're gonna get a sharp one. That's fact. That's cool. Sometimes you never know till you show. You know, it could have been dull as shit. Sometimes you just run into problems you can't see with your naked eye yet. Iwatani, the region. Kita, the type of stone. Kappa, the size, handheld. Kappa's like, about, I love these old stones. If you want to get into Japanese too, Japanese stones, getting Kappas is a great way to start if you're comfortable honing on smaller sizes. Not everyone is. It's just a more affordable way. This has some absorption, but it's very slow. Some beautiful colorations. Hint of the skin. That red. I can't forget the technical term in Japanese for it. This little spot seemed to just not absorb the water and bounce it out a little bit. It's not glue, it's something in the stone. Doesn't feel toxic, but there is a texture change right in that little spot there. I'm going to give us a quick dunk. I'm going to give this a dunk. I'm going to raise slurry gently. I would say this stone already has a glossy, glassed-in feel, but it's kind of intrinsic to the stone, the grit. This stone came beautifully dressed, sides chamfered, everything rolled smooth, just like I would. Those are in the good hands of One Stone, Nicholas Rollins and company. He's worth your money, believe you me. He's deserving of it. And he's got awesome stuff. He's got razors, he's got japstones, he's got his Pierre Lelunes, green shadows, black. I mean, I know some of these stones. If he still has some of those green schists, those are pretty wild, I would imagine. So honestly, Keith VJ in one of his more recent videos, I went back to try to find it and I couldn't find it, but he was talking about some stuff and he might have even removed a comment, or maybe he didn't scratch the video, talking about this concept of violet undercut, which is more particular when you're honing on stones with slurries, more particular to specialty garnets. They're rhombic dodecahedron size, the particulate grains in Belgian codicils. Anytime you have a rolling pile of particulate in water, it builds a little mound. And when you're honing, that mound can, quote unquote, violently undercut and reduce your apex, because you're actually pushing mud up under, and it reduces, I'm not sure if it reduces your primary, secondary bevel and how to tax it. I haven't quite gotten the visualization done, but I think about this a lot, and it's true. I also think about it when I lap stones, because I lap them on granite plate, loose sick powder, and you get this rolling pile of slurry and abrasives, and it's a mound, and that does things when you're trying to make something flat. That if you pay attention, you can learn a lot. I think violent undercut applies there, but we'd have to wait until KVJ delivers his final State of the Union on that. He's working on it. Speaking of, let's talk about George Chase. Farewell Marine, the first known Washita label in America, as far as everyone is aware. I had one. I have it still. KVJ has one. I assume he still has it, unless he sold it. But a friend of mine said, "Can I have that?" And they said, "Can I have that?" And I said, "Yes." So that's one of my. I'll probably never see another label like that again. You know, if you spit on a stone, there are enzymes in your spit that start to do stuff when they dry out and get worked. If you want to talk about textures of slurries and pastes, you could talk about that, because you can guarantee the old timers spit on corticals with their stones out in the field whenever they had them. You know, they weren't too worried about sitting at their bench and being perfect and being proper. They just got shit done. I'm gonna forget to do these. Let's get these in. I'm just working heel and the toe very lightly, very subtly with just all my fingers here, because these often get neglected. Will it improve? Will I have any arm hair left after the end of the night? Yeah, probably. So, you know what? I might be lucky, you might be lucky. I might spare you. No, not so lucky. Yeah, I don't have a good leather strop, barber style, so I use this. Now, this might be sacrilege. It probably is, in fact. I really wanted to lightly do this, but nope. I'm going to use my hand because this is leather. This is not a technique I recommend for the amateurs or the faint of heart. Will it cut? Over under? Cuts. Cuts good. It feels smooth. I think the tooth edge, you know, the serration of the teeth, all that stuff. You want to balance between micro serrations, polished shaving, just off 3 stones from a razor that came from who knows where and when it was used or honed last. It's nice. You got a question? You got to ask after. Peace. See you later, nerds. I'll watch this.